Israel-Iran war news. War-weary Iraqis care for Gaza but fear war spread. Iraqis want to support Palestinians but say they're still recuperating from their own wars and don't want to host an Iran-US proxy battle. Iraqis have tasted conflict so often in the previous 40 years that they can feel Palestinian misery in Gaza. They remember the horror of a shell whistling before impact, a knock at the door announcing a loved one's death, and blood drying on pavement. In rebel battle against the American occupation and a civil war between Sunni and Shia Muslims destroyed towns, families, and left many widows and orphans. Remembering those events led thousands of Iraqis to protest in the streets in support of the Palestinian cause. These expressions of support dwindled as the Gaza battle continued. 25-year-old dental student Yasmin Salih remarked, "You want to help," referring to Gazan Palestinians, "but you can't because your own bucket of worries is full." This is especially evident in Baghdad's ancient Adhamiyya area, where most Sunnis and Palestinians practice Islam. Many here fought the 2003 American occupation of Iraq and saw the Israeli assaults on Gaza as a comparable war. After the October 7 Hamas-led attack on Israel, many neighbors rejoiced. Residents say the crowds have shrunk since then, partially because they realize their efforts will aid few Palestinians. When the Hamas attack happened, it was like a good omen, said Adhamiyya lawyer and Palestinian activist Sheikh Mohammed Samir Obeidi, 44. "We celebrated here," he said. In March, Israel attacked Al-Shifa hospital, and 6 months later, Sheikh Obeidi tried to arrange a peaceful march and prayer for Palestinians. The turnout was profoundly disappointing. He said 2,000 people attended the ceremony after the Friday midday prayer, but they left. They went home for lunch. In 20 interviews in Sunni, Shia, and mixed Baghdad areas and chats with political experts and pollsters, Iraqis show great support for Palestinians. The wreckage of Iraq's wars still overwhelms many of those same people. Join the Israel-Hamas war briefing. The newest combat news. Get it in your email. Many Iraqis dislike the concept of engaging directly in this battle, and the reason is that they have had enough wars, and they don't want to be involved in one more, said Jordan-based Iraqi pollster Munkith Dagger. They endured much. Brown University's cost of war research estimates 272,000 Iraqis died in the last 20 years. The 1980s Iraq-Iran war killed at least 250,000 more, with some estimates much higher, according to UNC Chapel Hill. Dental student Ms. Salih is pursuing an advanced degree while caring for her cerebral palsy-afflicted 2-year-old son. She struggled to express her conflicting sentiments about balancing her own troubles with Gazans in a karate cafe where she had come to study. Advertisement. Skip ad. "I started crying when I viewed the videos, especially of the pregnant women and children," she added. Long-term trauma has made Iraqis stop feeling even when they see horrific things. "We feel numb." Ms. Salih survived the U.S. invasion, sectarian fighting, and 2014 Islamic State occupation of northern Iraq. Despite her age, the daughter of a Sunni and a Shia, she was close to their dead family. "The Gaza situation is terrible," she said. "We know this because we suffered," she remarked. Other young Iraqis have avoided the fighting. In Baghdad's commercial district near the Tigris River, 22-year-old Hamid sells cheap sneakers and t-shirts at an outdoor booth. He was worried but avoided discussing it. "Palestine is our second country, Quds is the third city for us," he remarked, talking about Jerusalem. He added Iraq should not get involved. Many want to avoid what they regard as a proxy conflict between the U.S. and Iran, Iraq's two main foreign players. Many Iraqis criticize the U.S. backing for Israel as disingenuous, given that American politicians openly support human rights and refer to Israeli human rights atrocities against Palestinians. However, Iran's influence in Iraq is more evident, therefore they see it more negatively. Many detest Iran's support of Iraqi Shiite armed organizations, which have joined the fight against Israel by launching rockets and drones at U.S. military installations from Iraq and, in February, launched near-daily strikes on Israeli targets. Image. Iran appears to be exploiting Iraq to further its regional goals through the Gaza war, according to University of Mosul political science professor Faraz Elias, who studies Iraqi and Iranian politics. Yet if the violence escalates, Iraqis worry their lives would be severely affected. Iranian-backed militants in Iraq said they defend Gazans by assaulting Israel's partner, the U.S. But occasionally, the U.S. has fired back, including in Baghdad, reminding Iraqis how swiftly war may return. Many in Sadr City, Baghdad, view the Iranian government as a bad influence, even though most residents are Shiite. Abu Tibba, a 48-year-old day worker and father of 4 who volunteers for populist and nationalist Shiite preacher Muqtada al-Sadr, stated, "Frankly, Iran put the Palestinians in this situation. They encouraged Hamas on October 7. Where does Hamas receive weaponry to fight Israel?" He said, from Iran, before Friday prayers in late April. Iran got Palestinians in difficulties, Iran got their houses demolished by Israel, and Iran got their children killed by Israel, he said. For 40 years, Iran has said death to America, death to Israel, and what has happened? Destroyed Palestinian homes. Palestinians die. Palestinians have nowhere. Image. Iraqi debates regarding Palestinians, Gaza, and Israel often turn to the U.S. and Iran. Noor Nafa, 32, a non-political member of parliament who protested corruption and Iranian influence in Iraq in 2019, said the Gaza conflict hurt Iraqis for several reasons. She highlighted young people's frustration with U.S. backing for Israel, fury that Iran and the U.S. were usurping Iraq's sovereignty and fighting on Iraqi soil, and concern that Iraq's frail economy cannot afford to get involved. She added many Iraqis emphasize that they are only now rebuilding their lives after decades of war at home. People say, please let me deal with my own difficulties first, she added. All these awful things from the past are still hitting us.